Hi everyone, and welcome back. And Sherry Curtis,
Hi.
welcome on board and everything. And you're running Upcountry Community Council. Shouldn't say running, but you were
Elected chair.
elected the chair, and that was last January.
Yes.
And we're going to try to keep this concise and everything because for time. And here we are in September, which is in the 9th month, and you've been going through a lot of, not a lot of changes, but you've been going through a lot of, I guess, changes. Tell us what you're doing
What
there
we're doing right now, because of a promise I made to the Board of Supervisors that we would do some housekeeping chores and shore up our bylaws and or the way that we run Upcountry.
Okay, and when did you make that promise?
That was over a year and a half ago. I was vice chair. I was at a Board of Supervisors meeting. Lynn Morgan could not come, and Board of Supervisors wanted to know why they got an email saying the Upcountry Council was opposed to the CBDG grant of going after to get water pipes upcountry repaired. And there was a bunch of us there supporting them getting the grant. And it was unknowns to us. We went, oh, no, I didn't know. So they said, Sherry, come on up here. Could you explain? So I did not understand what the conflict was, but I told them I would look into it. And because we did that, we found out there were many people on our Upcountry list, which she had mailed out to people.
She meaning Lynn?
Lynn.
Okay.
For their vote on whether Upcountry Council would support getting better water development through better pipes. And we found that there were a number of people that didn't even live in Amador County on the list. So once we got a hold of the list, we started finding that if you wanted to be involved with Upcountry, we sent them a notice and asked for them to give us their name, address, and phone number.
Okay, I'm going to backtrack, not really backtrack, but I'm going to go back just a little bit. The Upcountry Community Council is a quasi-government agency that was, Ted Villi basically said, I think that would be a good idea, right? And to be able to get input from the constituents.
From the citizens. And
from the Upcountry. And
he could bring to us things that were going on in the county.
Okay.
But it was a way to discuss things because we live so far away from the Board of Supervisors.
Okay.
And he's not always available because he has 17 meetings to go to all the time.
Okay. And also, we talked a little bit before, and that a lot of the people Upcountry, a lot of people in the whole county, but are elderly, and so they might not know how to use a computer to find out what's going on, or to be able to drive down and see all these things that seem like a good idea. Now, you see yourself as an educational.
Right. Our hope is to be able to share with seniors and others that are interested how our government works, how it's funded, who you would go to if you have a certain problem. And what we have done is if there are concerns raised, we bring the people that are in charge of that department up to Upcountry, and they can be addressed, and as conversation happens between all the people that are concerned and then the government side itself.
Okay, so it sounded like there was when you had taken over last January. What did you form to help either simplify or make it more understandable?
Well, we looked at a review of the bylaws, so we appointed a bylaw committee to please look at them to see how we can simplify it and make it easier, because in the bylaws, as they were, it's very confusing because it says one thing we have hoping to change is the word generally. We use Rosenberg's Rules of Law. And then the other part of our bylaws is we have to do consensus. And so there was conflict and nobody knew exactly when they would use generally or when they wouldn't. So we're trying to say we will use Rosenberg's rules all the time, consistently. So we can have one basic something to give to people.
So is that what you mean, like when you're running the meeting, that you're using
yes, we
the
have
rules?
an agenda,
Okay.
and we have order.
Okay.
And so it's a way to simplify and keep order and to be able to accomplish things.
Okay. Now, when the agenda comes out, that's what you're going to be discussing. Is there an opportunity in the beginning for people to speak about things that aren't on the agenda?
That's at the end of our agenda.
Yours is at the end of the agenda.
Right,
Okay.
because we usually have
You want to get
speakers.
to you want to get to the speakers and basically get maybe to the discussion
Right.
quicker.
All these people are volunteers. It's
Okay.
not like the Foothill Conservancy where they have paid staff and people to run the organization. We don't have thousands and thousands of dollars. We're all volunteers trying to help our seniors up there because they come and ask, well, who do I call? What do I do? And so it's supposedly a helpful
Okay.
tool.
Well, let me take you back when you were talking, and you had said like that. Some of the times. What do you have to be in order to have your vote count? Maybe before and now, with the possibility of the new bylaws taking effect. How are you trying to change them?
We're trying to look so they don't have consensus in there,
Okay.
but we are open and we want honest discussion from all points of view. But under Roberti's rules, or Rosenberg's, we come and there is a point the discussion closes. It doesn't go on and on and on. You come to a resolve after all have had a chance to speak
Okay.
and to get their side. And so then you vote.
So do you usually vote on taking a position? Is that what?
On things that are very important to the people up country,
Okay.
we will do that. Sometimes you don't need to do that. You have everybody's in agreement.
Okay.
And like we need better fire protection and things of that nature, you don't have to vote.
Well, that could break down possibly when somebody would say, well, how much does it cost? And then, well, it costs too much. And so rather than having consensus, which usually means 100% or maybe less, so it's somewhat of a vague word.
Yeah, it depends which definition you use. The one out of the dictionary and then which dictionary you're using. So it's
Okay.
a very ambiguous term, and we want to just simplify it.
So now, what's the threshold of say you had a position and you have pros and cons? It's called to that's enough of the discussion, and now we're going to put it to a vote. How much of a percent of the vote does it
It would
take
be
to say that you?
Just like government does. We're trying to teach how government works. So
Would it be
it's
50 plus 1?
51.
50 vote plus 1? Okay. So that's how you're taking a
Right,
position.
and if we're
Okay.
changing like something significant like bylaws, then we're putting in that it takes 60%.
Okay. All right.
So
that's,
it just doesn't get changed.
Yeah, you can. Otherwise, it would almost be willy-nilly, or get
Right.
2 more people in, and then take it up the next week.
Right.
Do you also have a thing? So, the board of supervisors have a. I don't know if they have to, but we just went over that, so we're not going over that again. I guess it would come up again maybe next year or something like that.
Right. If you've already spoken to the issue, so it doesn't get dragged on forever and ever and ever, then we will say it's time to close and take a vote.
Now, that was seemingly what you had just described, taking forever and ever and ever, was what the problem was at Upcountry Community Council for trying to come up with some positions on
Whatever
what were they?
a
what were they-
time-sensitive issue, like we were asked by the Board of Supervisors for an opinion of what Upcountry Council wanted for the CBDG grant, well, by our bylaws at that time, the time to be able to discuss it, we didn't have time. So we're going to add something for emergency times, sensitive issues that we could call an emergency meeting. Because sometimes the Board of Supervisors get on a deadline and they find out that they don't have enough time to the next meeting, they'll have to call a special meeting.
Okay, so right now maybe it's a good idea to say, how often do you meet?
Once a month,
Okay.
Mondays at 6 o'clock at the Veterans Hall on Buckhorn Ridge Road in Pioneer.
Okay. And-
And we're also going to be looking at our geographical boundary. people before wanted us to represent all the county. And our people in Pioneer
Okay?
were kind of saying, no, we kind of represent upcountry, which is different issues than people all over the county. We have the Board of Supervisors to do that. This is our way to talk to our supervisor, and the way the supervisor districts are, there is some of Ted's district that's still in the mountains over towards Brian Oneto's district. So we feel if people over there want to talk to him, it's easier.
So are your boundaries then to
They're
the
going to be
district?
looked at.
Are they going to be to the supervisorial district?
That's what we'll be discussing. How large of an area do we really want to encompass?
Does Pine Grove had a community council? And I live in the upcountry, and but I live closer to Pine Grove. So where are you recommending any boundary lines yet, or
No, we
you're
want
going
to
to
hear
have a
what
meeting?
we're
And
having a meeting. We'll probably have, a few meetings trying to get it down to what most of the people would like. And so here's the
Okay.
existing boundary right now, which is still a pretty large area.
okay, I'm not sure if people could see this, but the existing boundary is
Right. Down here is Climax, and it goes up over to Shake Ridge, and then all the way east to the county line.
okay.
But we're going to discuss southern boundary and northern boundary.
Okay, but it seemed to me like when you had started, you had some, you were saying that people that didn't even live in Amador County were
Right.
weighing in.
Yeah.
How did they weigh in?
Well, they sent an email to Lynn. So we're saying now all votes will be done at the meeting.
Okay,
Okay, so when I asked to see those emails, she was unable to produce them. So therefore we said, oh, okay, well, when we asked to have a petition put on in regards to the fire tax, she didn't allow it, she wouldn't put it on the agenda. So we want to be more open and have the issues that are of concern to Amador County and to us upcountry, because we have a lack of water.
okay. Now, how many officers are there in the Upcountry Community
Right
Council?
now, there's
Yeah.
the chair, vice chair, and the secretary.
So essentially, it would seem then that you need to put something on the agenda, you discuss it, and then I guess you as the chair would just take a vote, and then the vote decides.
What they want.
So you're
We also-
almost a secretary or a chairman, but a secretary in counting the vote
Right.
at the meetings.
But we have a sergeant of arms,
Okay.
and we also have chairmen of different committees that I will call for, did you get any input?
Okay.
What would you like to see? After each
guess-
meeting,
okay.
we ask the people
We only
what
have
they
like
want.
maybe a minute left, so I guess what
Okay.
I'm trying to say is that, it's not like, Board of Supervisors, 4 people that are, after everybody discusses it, you discuss stuff. Your position there is just to facilitate the vote on what you just heard, on the information that you just had, and maybe the information that you had brought with you that wasn't changed one way or the other from what people had said. Is that correct?
That's right. You review what the motion would be.
Okay, so that's,
on
I
the
guess, what
table.
I mean is after the discussion, you seem to have basically just a secretarial type
Right.
power of saying, okay, we counted and the count is this, and it moved that way. Is that
Right.
right? Okay, and we've run out of time, and it's very interesting. And tell everybody one more time where they can go to the meeting. You look at that camera right there, and then
Okay.
we'll go to break.
We wish to invite all residents, any business organization, to come to the first or the second Monday night of every month up at the Buckhorn Ridge on the road there, the Veterans Hall. And it starts at 6 o'clock, and we try to end right at 8. Sometimes we're a little teeny bit over.
Okay, all right. So there you go. If you're interested, you might want to make one of the first ones because I think they're trying to find out where the boundaries are. So thanks for watching, and we've got to go to a break. Thanks for coming by, Lynn. And, Sherry. And bye-bye.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.